A flag, an amulet, an illustration from a manuscript, a burial jar, a piece of bone. More than just objects in a museum or a history book, these speak to us today perhaps more urgently than in times of their creation. In this season, Dayaw explores the objects and manuscripts that form a puzzle. One that challenges our own conceptions of who we are and what our purpose as a nation is. All are vital clues in our continuing search for our knowledge, our pride. The symbol of our nation, the standard that we pledge our allegiance to, the colors that we hold up proudly. We profess so much love for the flag, but what do we really know about it? In the history and supposed evolution of our flag, what lessons do we learn about the character and spirit of our forefathers? What do we learn about our political history and the struggles of our people? Xiao Chua, a popular historian, lecturer, and teacher, debunks the popular notion that the present flag we know today evolved from the flags used in the revolutionary movements.
In the past decades, wherein there's a inscription to the different flags of the revolution, and it says evolution of the Philippine flag. And people always thought that there was a direct evolution from the Katipunan flag to the flag that we have today. Well, in fact, it's false. There's no evolution of the Philippine flag, but the flag that we have today was inspired by the many flags of the Philippine Revolution that actually existed together at the same time during the Philippine Revolution and the Philippine-American War. So basically, flags were recorded to have been here even during the time of our ancestors. In the Caracoas, the warships, it was recorded that there were flags in the different warships of our ancestors. So even the rebellions of Diego Silang had flags.
Xiao proposes that instead of the concept of an evolution of the Philippine flag, the more encompassing and correct title would be Flags of the Philippine Revolution. The symbols of a mass movement, a protest or revolution need to encapsulate in the most easily understood and emotionally resonant manner the cause that is being fought for. So many of the flags of the revolution are often stark and dramatic mixes of color and symbol. Here, together with the Ramon Obusan folkloric group, Dayaw traces these flags as well as the motifs that captured so vividly and communicated so effectively the aspirations of a people, all tracing the history of the organization that set these aspirations ablaze.
The whole name of the organization was Kataas-Taasang Kagalang-Galang na Katipunan ng mga Anak ng Bayan, or the highest and most venerable association of the sons of the people. So basically that was the design. And then another version of the flag would be a triangular KKK. But there's another version that's not shown too much in the flag illustrations. It's a black flag that was described by General Santiago Alvarez in his memoirs, that when they were inducting Aguinaldo to the Katipunan, they actually had on the wall or on the table, I forgot already, but they had there a flag, a black flag with a triangular KKK and the um, crossbone and skull. So even that, they were using the symbol. It's partly masonry, Masonic.
Each flag, each symbol was a product of so many other influences, some from revolutionary movements from halfway across the world, while others from collective memory, even from pre-colonial times.
And then Bonifacio will have a war standard with an unidentified number of rays of the sun with the KKK below it. Now, where did the sun now come from? Some would suggest that it was inspired by the South American flags because their revolutions were earlier than us. It's early 19th century, they were already revolting. Us was the late 19th century. There were bogus flags. They were not real. So for example, there's a flag that they call Magdiwang flag. There's also no record for Baybayin K with the eight rays. There's a flag like that. That's bogus. And then there's this what was mistaken as the Magdalo flag. It's the Baybayin K, which was placed with the son of Andres Bonifacio with unlimited number of rays, or with the unidentified number of rays being placed with the Baybayin K of Andres Bonifacio. This flag was actually used not by the Revolution of 1896, but by Antonio Trillanes and the Magdalo group. So people then, when they saw that Magdalo flag, thought that that actually came from 1896. And then they invented the Magdiwang flag, which is the flag of the, shall we say, with the one with the sun, and the Magdalo flag, which is the one with the Baybayin K. Again, there's no such flag. What we have was especially a flag with a Baybayin K with a special design of rays, which was drawn by Artemio Ricarte, which means that during the time when the revolution was already in Cavite, they have one single flag, and that was this flag, which was lowered in Biak na Bato.
More than an evolution, the various flags of the Philippine Revolution trace disparate efforts, individual points of view, and separate visions that nevertheless incorporated the ideas of liberty and independence. It would take one flag to incorporate all these symbols and consolidate these disparate ideas of the nation all had longed for but expressed so differently. The Philippine flag as we know it today is more than just a collection of symbols and significant colors. The very process of its creation and the story of the creators themselves add a layer of meaning to the flag story.
Julio Nakpil, one of the lieutenants of Andres Bonifacio. In fact, he became president of the High Council of the North, pangulo ng mataas na sanggunian ng Hilagaan. This is the government that Bonifacio left in Pasig and Antipolo when he went to Cavite. He said that the flag that we have today was actually originally designed by Feliciano Hoxon. He is a pharmacist and a revolutionary leader. Now, what happened was, this design of the flag was probably in Aguinaldo's mind and in the Hong Kong junta's mind when they decided that this would be the design of the Philippine flag. I mean, in all fairness to Aguinaldo, I never heard him say that he was the designer of this flag. But because of him, this was adopted. When After the Pact of Biak na Bato, he went to Hong Kong, and from Hong Kong, he was returning back to the Philippines to continue the fight against the Spaniards. The design was, there's a sun in the middle of the triangular symbol. The sun being the symbol of the pre-colonial Bathala, but also could have been inspired by the revolutionary flags of South America. Now, you have the triangular shape, and that triangle shape, according to some people, is actually or was actually an allusion to Masonry, because in Masonry, the triangle symbol is a very, very popular symbol. But there are other two sources of this, according to some people. Ethnologist Zeus Salazar says that the triangle is actually a symbol of the pre-colonial mountain of God, or they call it Bundok Boord. So that Bundok Boord was the, shall we say, where the Anitos and where God was residing. So it was a very powerful symbol for the Filipinos. So it's quite a special flag because, first of all, it was designed in the middle of our fight for freedom. Number two, they were first made by 3 women, which also underscores the role of the women in our revolution. So you have here a flag created by patriots. It was approved by the Hong Kong junta, headed by Emilio Aguinaldo. So you have here a flag that was a product of its time, a product of our struggle for freedom. So it's not just any other symbol.
The first version of the flag we know today is not a static emblem.
When the fight with the Americans came, that also became the symbol of the fight against America. And if you're going to look at it, Aguinaldo added design to one of the flags that he was carrying. That design had expeditionary forces north of Luzon. There's a wreath and then there's a Spanish inscription, Fuerzas Expedicionarias Norte de Luzon. And then at the other side of the flag, you have another wreath that says another thing. Libertad, Justicia, y Igualdad. Liberty, justice, and equality. Quite similar to the French Revolution. Now, this flag is believed by some people to be the first flag of the Philippines. Well, some people do not believe it. But I have to say that it is important because Aguinaldo cherished this flag from the beginning. He carried it to the mountains, and it was with him all throughout his life, parading it. This earliest copy of the Philippine flag, or this earliest Philippine flag that we have, it is now displayed at the Aguinaldo Museum, owned by the Suntay family in Baguio City.
A visit to the Emilio Aguinaldo Shrine in Kawit, Cavite yields other artifacts and objects that add dimensions to the story of our flag. Here we see how artists from all periods have lent their skills to the vision of nationhood. Curator Paulette Bedruz takes us through the most significant highlights of the Aguinaldo Shrine.
The Aguinaldo house is said to have been built in 1845. It was reconstructed in 1849, adding limestone to the house. The major renovations of the house happened in the 1920s. This was the time when President Emilio Aguinaldo added symbols of the revolution and the proclamation of Philippine independence to the mansion. We have 3 in the main grand room. We have the League of Nations, we have the Lay Marshal, and then the Inang Bayan. The Lay Marshal sculpture is an eight-rayed sun. It symbolizes the 8 provinces put under martial law in 1896. The Inang Bayan wooden relief is added to the Aguinaldo Shrine in the 1920s. It depicts a woman in a barret saya holding a flag with the broken chains at the bottom. It also has a mountain with a setting or a rising sun at the background. Emilio Aguinaldo donated the mansion to the Filipino nation a year before he passed away. It was put under the care of the National Museum. The next year, it was declared a national shrine by President Diosdado Macapagal.
The story of the flag goes beyond the house, beyond those times.
There are some debates where was it sky blue because one letter by Mariano Ponce, the blue color of the sky symbolizes this and that. So, some would say it was navy blue. And so dark blue or sky blue. But who would know? I mean, that was the time of the revolution. Any blue cloth that you have, you use it for the flag. Now, eventually, to end this debate, Fidel Ramos in 1997 standardized the color of the flag. It became royal blue. If you're going to look at the evolution of the flag, you have there, the first flag had a sun with a face, an anthropomorphic sun. But by the time Quezon standardizes the flag, he removes the face. So yeah, that's how it was. And they standardized the size of the stars and how it should be displayed. I believe that this flag of ours is the only flag that when you put it upside down, it will have a different meaning. Remember that each country or a lot of the countries in the world have what we call war flags. Meaning they have a flag in regular times, in times of peace, but when they declare a state of war, they would use another flag. Now, in the Philippines, we don't have a war flag. But our flag, when you put it upside down and you put the red on top, it means that we're at war.
This would be the best time to remind ourselves of the proper protocols that surround the use of the Philippine flag.
When it's with a number of flags, it should always be the left side. Or if there's a higher flagpole, it should be there. And the other should be lower, and stuff like that. And also there's a proper way of folding it. It's by law, there's a proper way of folding the flag. And it should be that when you fold it, the triangle shape of our flag, the star should be in the middle. Now, what you do with the old flags, you have to burn the old flag ceremonially while singing songs, patriotic songs. So you cannot just bury the flag, or you have to burn the flag. Also, you cannot use the flag as design for advertisements or commercial items. So if you have shirts with the Philippine flag design, you cannot do that. That's illegal. You cannot wear the flag.
Now more than ever, the flag is a living symbol that needs to be incorporated into our daily lives. Around the flag have grown many more symbols, all of which serve as companion pieces to the most elevated ideals of nationhood.
There are symbols like complementary to the flag and national anthem in the flag and heraldic code. One, you have the national coat of arms. And then, of course, you have the national motto. The national motto is Makadiyos, makatao, makakalikasan, at makabansa. And then you have the national pledge, which is not panatang makabayan. The national pledge is actually the panunumpa ng katapatan sa watawat.
In recent times, many documents and objects that relate to the Philippine Revolution of 1898 and the personalities who have shaped the nationalist movement have become objects for sale to the highest bidder. How these objects have come to light in the auction houses and how they become objects of trade and commerce will always be a prickly issue. Still, the wealth of objects and stories related to the Katipunan and to the heroes of the revolution are eagerly sought by collectors. Their astronomical bids often reflecting a financial power and uneven distribution of wealth that would have shocked our revolutionary heroes. Hopefully, these objects and manuscripts have now found their way into private collections. Hopefully, that means they will be better preserved and cared for. But the essence of their meaning and their memory are shared by all Filipinos who still care. One does not need to actually buy the objects to appreciate the stories. One does not need to possess them to feel more patriotic or more appreciative of their worth as elements that all went into the creation of the flag.
This flag that we have was a product of our history, our struggle for freedom. A lot of people died fighting for our country, seeing that flag for the very last time in their last breath. So I think for the Filipinos, this flag is very important for us. We had victories and we won international recognition flying this flag. And this flag is very close to the hearts of every Filipino. So when we see that flag and we sing the same anthem, we are reminded that we are one people. That despite the diversity of our cultures and our experiences, that we have a common history and hopefully a common future.
I hope that you remember this episode of Dayaw the next time you see the Philippine flag. With so many stories you've heard, you may find yourselves holding your heads up a bit higher, your backs a bit straighter as you gaze upon its colors. Symbol, once integrated fully into our very being, can do this. They can take us out of our comfort zones and challenges, not just to remember the past, but to actively participate in envisioning and fully realizing the future. This is Loren Legarda, hoping that the future that we create here and now will be alive We have Dayaw, our knowledge, our pride.
Hindi karapat-dapat na sa Iginaldo ang maging Pangulo. Bawat problema may kanya-kanyang solusyon. Hindi man ito dumating ng buo, ngunit pira-piraso.